Hey, Ant here, and today we're going to be doing something very near and dear to my heart. We are going to be cooking barbecue pork spare ribs. So as a kid, I was a very picky eater, and barbecue pork ribs were one of the only things that I really looked forward to eating. And that was because they're really stinking good, and also because my family didn't really eat them that often. But now that I'm a middle-aged man, I can do whatever the heck I want, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing today. So I've been looking forward to this day all week to cook these ribs. So enough talking and let's go ahead and get into this thing. Okay, so I have my pork spare ribs here. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these open. So the next step I'm going to be doing is I'm going to trim these ribs. I say trim because I'm not really gonna do much to it. So usually on the backside, a lot of people will tell you, take a paper towel, rip this membrane off. I usually score it because I suck at ripping this thing off, but I don't know if it really makes a difference. And I personally, honestly, have never tried to cook ribs with the membrane still on. So you know what I'm gonna do is I'm going to maybe score one, rip one off, and I'm going to leave one completely on, and I will see if it really makes a difference at the end. On this side, I'm not gonna do anything. There's always like this little fat pocket right here, but this is kind of like my indicator to know if the ribs are ready to wrap and get tender. So I'm not gonna touch this at all. There's some parts that could be trimmed off, this part right here, but you pay by the pound, and this is backyard cooking, so I don't care if it looks pretty. I just care that it tastes good. So I'm gonna leave this thing alone. I'm just gonna go ahead and score this backside. Okay, this last one. Take a look at this. Look how much fat is on this thing. Usually I don't care about trimming off the fat, but this is crazy. Let's just do an experiment. I'm not gonna trim this thing. So we'll keep an eye on this fatty rib and see how it turns out. Okay, so now we're ready for seasoning. So, as I've said in my previous videos, I've been using the rubs from Meathead Goldwyn's cookbook. I mixed this myself, followed the recipe directions, and all I did was I replaced the sugar with Swerve brown sugar. Again, your boy's on a cut, so I gotta watch my calories. Easy peasy, my boys.
Give your meat a good old rub.
Okay, so I just threw the ribs on, and I had to also put a little bit more seasoning on top of them for the parts that kind of rubbed off. I wanted to make sure that we had a nice even coating of the seasoning, and I am basically going to be cooking them right now at between 200 and 225 degrees Fahrenheit. So the main goal is to absorb as much smoke as I possibly can. So I'm using Weber Smokey Mountain, and it uses chunks and mostly charcoal. So I want to make sure that we're cooking low enough that that wood has enough time to smolder and has enough time to penetrate the meat before the meat can no longer absorb smoke. So that's my plan for right now. It's time to go to phase 2. So I opened up the vents to get the smoker to 275 degrees to help the fat render. 30 minutes later, the ribs are starting to get dry, so I sprayed them with apple cider vinegar every 15 minutes until the bark is just right. Once the bark is set, it's time for the sauce. So to save on calories, I use 1 part barbecue sauce to 2 parts apple cider vinegar, and then just add pork rub to taste. This is a great diet hack because it doesn't obscure the flavor, and the calories are cut by 2/3. So it takes about 30 minutes for the sauce to set, and now I'm just waiting until the fat has completely rendered. So how do you know if the fat has rendered? Okay, I know that the fat's rendered when that fat pocket at the end of the rib is no longer bouncy, and it just gives way to my finger. This means that it's time to wrap. For today, I'm only eating 1 rack of ribs, so for the other 2, I just wrap them tightly with foil, and then I stick them in the freezer for about 30 minutes to cool down, and then I transfer them directly to the fridge. So for the rack that we are eating, I added 0-calorie butter spray, some of that vinegar sauce to both sides, and then wrap them up in foil and put them back on the cooker until it's ready. And there we have it, the ribs. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cover these up very loosely, and I'm gonna let them rest for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then I'll go ahead and cut it up and show you what the inside looks like. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and cut these things open. Okay, so ribs are all cut up and beautiful. So I'm gonna go ahead and select one of these ribs. So as you can see, a bit of a smoke ring right there. Shows it got the smoke flavor and yeah, juiciness. It is
Nice.
very juicy. All right, so all that's left is to give it a try. Wow.
That's a 10.
Really good. Yeah, that sauce is just very like sticky and tacky on it because I put it on so early and put 2 layers of it. You get the smoke flavor. Again, I love this rub. So yeah, this is a smash hit for sure. However, I am not gonna take a second bite. And here's why. I was thinking I'm going to try and do a bit of a rib eating challenge right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to eat these ribs as fast as humanly possible. I did a little bit of research and I found that Matt Stoney is actually the record holder for the most spare ribs eaten in a 5-minute period. He ate 71. Clearly I don't have 71 ribs in front of me. I have 13 bones. So doing a little bit of math, if I eat these 13 bones within 52 seconds, then that means that I would have been on pace to be the rib eating champion. So before I even get my time, I'm going to challenge Wilson, Air Wilson, good friend of mine, and he makes awesome vlogs. So check out his channel to see his rib eating challenge and see if he can beat my time. So without any further ado, let's get this challenge on. Okay, so as you can see, I have my apron on. I have a feeling that this challenge is gonna get very messy, so I'm coming prepared. So if you're gonna attempt this at home, make sure you come prepared as well. Once I hit the start button, the chains are set free. I'm going loose. I'm gonna go ham on these ribs. So the timer starts now. Oh, hold on, I didn't hit it.
Hey, got him.
The timer starts now.
In danger.
My time was about 3 minutes and 31 seconds. So not even close to Matt Stoney, but I tried my best. Yeah, so Wilson, 3:30, can you do it? I guess I'll just have to wait and see. But anyways, I hope you guys learned something, how to smoke ribs, how to stuff your face like a pig, whatever. But anyways, I'm gonna clean up here and sign out. So catch you guys on the next one.